From the hills of great Sapon lies a cozy scenery.
On the 19th of July this year, the Asobecians will be coming to Denver, Colorado for their national convention, and I will be there. Will you be there?
Join us. I will be there.
My name is John Indele Abam. I am a Boban residing in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be there.
I will be there, but it certainly would be the same without you, so please come join us.
Asobex convention this year in Denver, Colorado. Be there because I will be there.
Just here to indicate that I'll be there. Hope to see you there.
I will be there.
I definitely will be there.
I will be there. Will you be there? See you there.
Our soul makes thy greatness not some can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in Him. From the hills of great upon lies a cozy scenery. Host of ETC, BTTC, BBS, S2BHS. Our soul makes thy greatness not can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in Him.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the second edition of Asbest Connect, the first of its kind for asbestians. For those who are joining for the first time, Asbest is the acronym for the Association of Simple Baptist ex-students from the present-day Baptist High School. Asbest Connect is all about exploring and recounting all those wonderful memories and those students who have these experiences with their lives. You know, we were, depending on where you actually graduated from, you know, we have classes that are coming together that are, you know, years apart. And we just like to share experience with one another so that, you know, we can go back and kind of connect to what, you know, join us together.
Right.
So the experience of attending Baptist, even though it's unique in its own right, has several similarities to those other schools that were around us. So, you know, the Sacred Baptist, Bishop Rogan, just to name a few. And so there are a lot of those experiences we'd like to share with those who went to these boarding schools, and even those who had, you know, kids there or parents, or you have your staffs. That too can be shared for those who went to this boarding school or even had this association with boarding schools.
That's right.
So as we promised in the first show, Asbest Connect is not only going to be limited to exhibitions. Basically, we would like to invite those who are from, you know, other organizations, other schools, who has other experiences from boarding schools that we can connect with here.
Right, the other ex-students associations.
That's correct.
In the diaspora or in the U.S., you have Sacred sessions, lessons, just to name a few. So yeah, and we all connect with each other because we have similar experiences as boarding school students.
Okay, awesome. So that's exactly that. And even when you are in town, because we're situated in Houston, if you're in town, please touch base with us so that you may come and be a guest at our studio, and especially if you have something to present or an experience you'd like to share. So so we thank you once again, and again, we apologize for starting late. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here now, and we're very honored that you guys can actually spend some time with us. All right, so Crystal, to you.
Yes, today our topic of discussion would be about personal hygiene, personal hygiene challenges which we faced as students going to boarding schools. People always interacted as a group, and that's why we have a lot of those challenges. You know, when you stay in the boarding school, you have that little environment, and there's like, what, 600?
Right.
There's times where you have even 1,000.
Close quarters.
I'm sorry?
Close quarters.
Oh, yes, right, yeah. So with that, you would have diseases, especially contagious diseases that would move from, you know, one student or one child, you know, to the next. If does sports in the refectory while you're bathing and all of that, and you have students who even sleep together on the bed, you know, you'd have, you know. So we're going to be talking about those common illnesses that affect us or affect the students, you know, things like sugar.
Right, that I heard about a lot.
Right,
and,
right,
you know,
and Camnogo and stuff like that, yeah.
So the thing is, you know, we come from a co-ed campus, so the fact that we were able to go to a co-ed campus, we did spend a lot more time with our hygiene. And then, you know, others that probably don't, like in your single-sex schools, I don't think they had
the
that
boys
kind of
actually carried, because
Right.
they're all boys. But you know, when with the co-ed, like in BHS, then you had, you know, boys and girls, and you know, you had guys who were interested in girls, or girls who were
Right.
interested in guys, and stuff like that. And that kind of helped with our personal hygiene,
Hygiene.
because you want to look.
I mean, but the
Presentable.
diseases themselves brought it to another level, you know. So well, we definitely, you know, paid attention to those things, you know, especially not only because, you know, when we used to have aims, you know,
Right,
so the
right,
aims,
right.
so we had aims. The second layer is that you didn't want to be known to have these contagious diseases. So this was a very important. So hygiene was definitely taken to an extra degree, I believe, you know, because we went to a co-ed school.
Okay, that's right, definitely. So we're going to be starting off with eczema. As we know, eczema is something that's very common. You have symptoms like dry skin, itching, especially at night, you know, patchy scales and stuff like that. That's, you know, those are symptoms. So if you have that, you're probably having eczema. And some of the causes are like, you know, the inability for your skin to provide protection to your body from all those bacteria and allergens
But
and
is
stuff.
it because you're dirty that you get eczema?
No. Sometimes it could be like I said, like it could be allergens. In our case, a lot of times, yes, it would be from hygiene, because if you look at it, you know, the students, say from 1 and 2, that are just from the parents' home and stuff, the younger ones are the ones that are likely to get eczema, because, you know, because the hygiene isn't as proper as, say, the high school students, you know, that had it. So
They had an allergic reaction.
right, and, you know, missing things and stuff like that. So when you have that, how do you treat it? A lot of times you just need to moisturize your body. So, I don't know, put glycerine, or if you have to use Vaseline. And then you would have to, if it doesn't work, then you use, you know, some steroids, you know, topical steroid creams on the area, on those patches, and that can help kind of solve the problem. And again, eczema takes a long time. It's not something
It takes
that
a long time anyway.
Right, yeah,
so
it takes months.
Going back, like in BHS, you know, these things get missing, you know. So,
Right,
So these
right.
things can actually take longer than usual, but you're saying it can even take longer because, you know, that's how the infection is.
Sure.
Interesting.
And then the next thing we want to do is get into stuff like Apollo. Conjunctivitis is, you know, what it's called. But Apollo, very common. You would see children have, you know, the pink eye. Right, and it's common skin disease eye disease that's, you know, symptoms would be like itching and eye redness, and you have the crusting, and then sometimes when you sleep at night and get up in the morning, and it's kind of hard for you to, you know, open up.
It's an infection. So you
Right,
get
it could be bacterial infection, it could be a fungal infection, it could also be an allergy. Right.
You know, I remember back then there used to be this flower that used to float in the air.
Right.
Didn't they used to call that Apollo?
Yes, because a lot of times when it comes in contact with the eye, it's a pollen. When it comes to contact with the eye, then you have that allergic reaction.
Okay.
And then you have the pink eye and the Apollo. Yeah, and and how to treat this, you know, you just have to let it run its course, especially if it's from a fungal infection. You just have to let it run its course. Clean the eye, clean, say, your pillowcase and stuff like that. If it's a bacterial infection, you might want to get some eye drops. If it's an allergy, you'll want to get some allergy medication. So, personal hygiene.
Are there antibiotics? Do you have to take antibiotics, or is it just?
If it's a bacterial,
Okay.
you know, usually when it's a fungal, it would leave, say, one eye and move. There's times where they will leave one eye and then move to the next eye.
Okay.
That's usually a fungal. Bacterial would last much longer.
Okay.
So with that one, you want to use an eye drops bacterial.
Okay.
Eye drops antibiotic. Yes. See, the next one we have. It's the common one we all call camnogo, right? Scabies. That one was very embarrassing.
That's the one because it itches.
Because it itches, and it itches anywhere. It could itch on your butt. It could itch under your armpit, under your breast, groin area, and stuff like that.
That's unfortunate.
Right. Yes. And especially at night. So camnogo is when you have somewhere moderate to severe itching. That's how you have camnogo. And then sometimes you would see bumps because it's caused by mites or like insects. So you see bumps, and where the insect burrowed into the skin. So, right, yes. So that's how you have camnogo. The treatment for it, you'd have to use some cream on it, and you'd have to rub it on your body, entire body for
Is it like
several.
a white cream? I remember someone wearing something that's very obvious that you have,
It is a white cream. So in the U.S. it's called permethrin cream. I'm not sure what it's called in Cameroon since they have the
French.
Medications from Europe. So with that, to prevent it from spreading, because it's a very contagious, disease, you'd want to clean up your linen and your beddings and clothes, and try to do not come too close, to another person, because you might get them infected.
It would easily get infected.
Right. Let's see. Next one would be Creechy, right?
Creechy. Okay.
Remember Creechy? You remember Creechy? Yeah, that's another one too, which was very embarrassing. Creechy is it's from an insect, comes from an insect called a Rove beetle.
A Rove beetle?
Right, yes.
Where will you find that in the field?
You'd find it...
Or they will crawl into your bed at night?
They can crawl on your beddings, and they're always like on lights. Area.
What do you mean light area?
Like like the security lights that we have, especially in front of the dormitories or even in the dormitory.
So they fly.
They do fly, and very common in hilly or mountainy areas.
Okay.
And or bushy and stuff like that. So. Yeah, so Creechy usually results from the insect, excreting the liquid that causes irritation from the skin.
So your skin is allergic to it.
Right. Your skin gets allergic to it, and then you itch, and then you have these blisters, and it's depending on how you itch it and all of that, it goes. It could go claw up right up to your face or groin area and stuff like that. So how do you treat that? You treat that too with, topical steroids. And also that's for the inflammation and redness and all of that. And then for the itching, you can take some anti-itch, or I don't know how to call it.
Anti-itch cream?
Anti-itch. You can take even tablets like the Benadryl.
Oh, really?
Or, the Claritin and stuff like that. Yes, you can. Right. Again, I wouldn't know what it's called in Cameroon, like the name. Yes, right. But here it would be, right. Yes. So I guess we get to on break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Let's try and
we'll go
get
to
a
commercial break and see you in a little bit.
From the hills of great Paul lies a cozy scenery.
On the 19th of July this year, the Assobations will be coming to Denver, Colorado for their national convention, and I will be there. Will you be there?
Join us. I will be there.
My name is John Indele Abam. I am a Boban residing in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be there.
I will be there. but it certainly would be the same without you. So please come join us.
Asobex convention this year in Denver, Colorado. Be there because I will be there.
Just here to indicate that I'll be there. Hope to see you there.
I will be there.
I definitely will be there.
I will be there. Will you be there? See you there.
Our soul makes thy greatness known, tongue can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in Him.
All right, so
Cool,
our
so our next one.
part, right?
Yes.
I think we have the the interesting ones for this topic, and the next one we're going to be talking about would be cerebral malaria.
Oh
right?
yeah, okay. Now this is weird. Go ahead and describe it.
Cerebral malaria actually is a complication from malaria, like your regular malaria, and symptoms. The usual symptoms, right, would be abnormal or combative behavior sometimes.
It's because a worm went into your brain, literally, right?
Right. And sometimes you'd have like loss of consciousness, and
Do they always affect those same area of the brain because it seems like those symptoms are always the same. Like I remember, people literally acting crazy when they have cerebral malaria,
right?
Almost like they're possessed.
The similar, but they're not the same. Some people act like they're crazy and possessed, and you have some people that just start crying, and they cry the whole time, or someone's would be talkative and stuff. So they all manifest in different forms. They're not always combative, like the ones we saw in school, where
Yeah, some people used to even fight because of cerebral
right,
malaria.
and it's interesting because if you had a problem with someone and they had cerebral malaria, and you would say your friend or anyone had cerebral malaria and got them beat up, you'd be yeah. I mean, I guess students loved it, but the thing is, we really don't know, because after that, then they after that episode, they're fine, and we don't know if they actually. I don't know personally if they had any
prior.
No, if they had any treatment or follow up after that. So it's something that probably the child or school authorities or patient.
Now, is it true if you had it once, you always have it again?
Yes, if it's not taken care of. So that's why a lot of times you would see students have it over and over. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if there was any follow up after the cerebral malaria thing. 'Cause, I mean, I've never had it, so I really don't know what the steps that the school made in order to see the child get better and not have.
Because malaria is just hard to get out of your system in the first place, even if you're just sick.
Right,
period.
and
so I always wondered about that. Maybe
talking about Cameroon, where you're prone to mosquitoes and all of that, so you're always gonna get malaria somehow or sometime, with your stay and all of that. So best treatment I saw for cerebral malaria would be quinine, which is used for treatment of malaria. And then, to prevent this from happening, always make sure you treat the underlying cause, which is the malaria, because the cerebral malaria is as a result of you not taking care of, the malaria in the first place. So if we take care of that, then, we wouldn't have to go to the worst case scenario. Let's see. Next topic, it's definitely a fun one. I guess sugar, right?
Sugar.
Right, and this is yeast infection. Is a vaginal yeast infection. I mean, you also have men who have yeast infections, but it's very common with women or with the girls, especially the younger ones. Right.
Why is that? Do you know?
Yes, again, it goes back to personal hygiene, right? Especially in our case as, students, You would have, this is something that personally I even, suffered from. Especially when I was in Form 1 and Form 2, I would have multiple tries of the sugar. So it comes as a result of maybe you repeating your underwear. So when you come to Form 1, right?
Exactly.
After a week, everything gets missing, and you're down to one pant.
Yeah, exactly.
You're down to one pant. You have to wash it maybe overnight, and wear it. So you do what is called wash and wear, especially with the net ones or the
polyester ones.
Polyester ones where you can just shake and most of the water will go out. Also the toilets, the toilets are not very clean. And, the younger ones always used it. Even when they weren't that clean, we had to use it. And, who knows what, especially when you're peeing and you have to, pee into the hole of the pit toilet. And then if you miss it and it comes back into the vaginal area,
but
you're prone to that.
Toilets used to be long, so it actually does travel up that far up.
What's that?
The pit toilet.
No, you have to. The pit toilet has the hole in it where you have to sit and pee. So if it goes down the hole without touching, especially the areas around, then where you might be safe. So, but the corners around which has feces from who knows who, from your friends and all of that, and probably been there for days, and you try to pee and you don't have that hole right, and it goes through that and then it bounces back, the water bounces
that really
back.
stinks.
Right, yes. So it's very embarrassing too, and you would itch for a very long time, and this makes the swelling around your vagina, redness, soreness, and all of that. And sometimes you would even get like a discharge from the vagina, and it's kind of cottage cheese-like and stuff like that. So that is when. From onset, you have to do something.
Yeah, you have sugar,
right?
Yeah.
You have sugar, and a lot of times we would just, stay that for whatever course, or just hoping it would not be that bad. And
so sometimes you ignore it at first,
right?
And it just ends up getting worse.
Right. And then for that's for the younger ones, and then for the older ones. I think you have a less episodes of sugar, but some of them they do like what you call douche. You clean up the area, start using you want your vaginal area to smell good and all that. That is not necessary. Hey, everyone, do not use perfumes, douche or deodorants.
They don't work.
No, they'll just help. Take out the bacteria, because the vagina is in itself a cleansing. It works. It's a whole world on its own. It can clean itself. It can do anything. So all you need to do if you have to wash around that area is just use clean water, right? Even soap, like the perfume soap, you don't have to use it, because then you're prone to. You get prone to yeast infections and all of that. Right, or I don't know. So with that, how do you treat it? You treat it with the anti-fungals, right?
So it's a fungus.
Right. Yes. Here you use a miconazole, what is commonly called a monistat. Again, I'm not sure what it's called in Cameroon. But it's something that you would have to insert into the vagina for maybe 3 to 7 days, and it should.
Is it like a suppository?
Right. There's like suppositories, and there's other ones that have like creams where you have to inject the cream, and all of that. So this is something I think should always, like, we should talk about, especially those in the girls, like the girls camp, should talk about it, like the house mothers and the bigs and all of that. Try to teach
recommend to the girls and
education and all of that, and teach the especially the younger ones self-care and how to get about this. And this is also to the parents. I'm not sure how they have to do it, but I don't know if you'd have to give it to the student, the teachers, or students and all of that.
Like maybe even pamphlets and aids.
Right.
Because that seems to be pretty rampant.
Right. It is rampant, and for all the reasons.
Common.
Right, and to prevent that, you would have to avoid all of those, like the deodorants, and you would have to provide. The school would have to provide. I don't know if they can provide them with underwears and stuff. So yeah, and then we would come back to the last ones for. We do a commercial break and come to the more interesting ones. There's about 2-3 topics that we have, guys. So don't go away. All right.
Stay tuned.
From the hills of great upon lies a cozy scenery. Coast of BBS, S to BHS. Our soul makes thy greatness not can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in it. From the hills of great upon lies a cozy scenery.
On the 19th of July this year, the Assobations will be coming to Denver, Colorado for their national convention, and I will be there. Will you be there?
Join us. I will be there.
My name is John Indele Abam. I am a Boban residing in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be there.
I will be there, but it certainly would be the same without you, so please come join us.
ASOBEX convention this year in Denver, Colorado. Be there because I will be there.
Just here to indicate that I'll be there. Hope to see you there.
I will be there. I definitely will be there.
I will be there. Will you be there? See you there.
Our soul makes thy greatness not can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in it.
Break. The next, we have 2 more topics to go.
Sure.
The first one would be allergies, right?
Okay.
This one I think is a very serious one because a lot of students come to school. A lot of parents let the students come to school without knowing what allergies they have.
Right.
And the students come to school and they do not only eat what is provided to in the refectory, but they eat whatever their friends have or whatever they can buy from, say, the dining shed or out of school. So allergies, since it's something that you miss, the parents miss, or even the tutors miss, symptoms would be like itchy eyes, redness, rash, runny nose, sneezing. Worst case scenario would be shortness of breath, and then leading to death because you can actually die out.
Especially when people don't know.
Right, of a severe allergic or reactions. A lot of people don't know that you have all these different things that can cause an allergic reaction. So you have stuff like food that can cause you to react badly, and animals, cats,
certain animals that you're around.
Right, yes. You also have insects. You have medications. You can be allergic to medications. You can also have, seasonal allergies, or and then you have latex allergies too. But
so allergies comes from all angles.
Right, it's from every angle, and a lot of times you wouldn't know until you get in contact with whatever your body is allergic to, and it starts reacting. Right, so how you treat it, you give it the anti-allergies, which is again it's antihistamines. But you know the allergic reaction medications would be stuff again like Benadryl and the Claritin. You know, for the minor ones, right? Because usually when you have an allergic reaction, it could start, and then you know, my son has an allergy to eggs. So when he eats it, he has hives everywhere and rash and stuff. But usually it goes away after about 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, thank God it's not that bad.
Okay.
You know, you've had people who suffered allergic reactions that end up in the hospital.
Right.
So if you give that medication and say within 45 minutes, you don't see any improvement and it gets worse, you want to go to.
And especially in boarding school, because the people that should know are not immediately available.
Right. So you tell, I don't know, the school authorities, tell the discipline master, teacher, principal, someone, because you need to get to the hospital as soon as possible. How you prevent this is just, running away from whatever you're allergic to, right? And the last one we're going to talk today about is brabite.
What?
Brabite. Okay, that's the common name I guess the girls called it brabite, but it's menstrual cramps.
Okay.
Right. So we give it that code name, so when we talk about it, the guys don't know.
That's a code name. Okay.
Right,
See,
that's
I never knew that, and it's been 30 years since I left high school.
Or they call it, I think I think brabite was because in high school I left and went to Bamenda. So in BHS we called it Congo. So
really?
Right. Yes. I don't know if they still call it that way now. I mean, it's been over 20 years, close to 20 years or so. But yeah, that's the code name we use for it. The symptoms are pretty much abdominal pain resulting from your menses, and it could be really be really debilitating because there's times where you cannot even function, like you're just in bed.
Now this would be particularly interesting because you have, I guess there's some girls that come in and have their first menses in school.
Right.
And it's and at once they have Congo.
Right. Well, the Congo is already the menses. So I guess maybe the Congo bite or something would be really? The menstrual cramps. But yes, they come to school, maybe they experience their first period in school, and it's probably going to come with pain and all of that, and they don't know what to do. Or you can have people who even, menstruate before they came to school, but they never had that parent education. It's not something
really?
That, we as African parents are not really comfortable, especially talking about things about sex, your menses and all of that. So yes, it's abdominal pain, it's nausea, loose stools, stuff like that. And it's it's something that you have to deal with every month, right? Okay. It's there. So, again, it prevents the girl from maybe going to classes, or maybe when you're in classes, the teacher comes, when you're in the dormitory because you can't go to class, then the teacher comes and,
That's a lashing, isn't
right,
it?
Right, that's a lashing. That's a lashing for you for the day. So, it's caused by the uterus, during ovulation. It prepares you for fertilization, and if it doesn't occur, then you have to shed and the menses go out. So those contractions and the shedding of that lining, that's what actually causes you with other hormones. That's what causes the pain and all of that. So how do you treat it? This one, like I said, it's actually very good, especially for the parents and teachers. Personal experience that I had from school, I had one of my friends in school, I think in high school, she always had she would have menstrual cramps for, say, a day before she had her period to like a day after. So that's for almost a week. And it was so crucial that she would not even go to class. So during the holidays, I guess her mom took her to a native doctor, and the native doctor said, hey, in order for me to, treat this disease, I have to have sex with her. And
really?
yes.
So
please, parents.
Situation.
Right. So please do not take your child
to a witch doctor.
Right. Because menstrual cramps is, normal. It's a normal process. Some girls have it, some girls don't have it. Some ones are serious, some one are not that serious. So when your child has it, treat it with Tylenol, paracetamol. That's how it's called, paracetamol. Ibuprofen. That's ibuprofen. That's how. Right.
Okay.
Right. You can get 1 or 2 tablets, 3, depending on how serious it is, and to prevent it, you really don't need to. You can't really prevent it. So the thing is, just know how your body, because a lot of times you might have it a day before your period, a day after your period, during your period and stuff like. So just take, say, the Tylenol or ibuprofen, when you sense
when it's coming.
Right. So. Talking about all of this, disease states. So, I think the main issue is what can parents do and what can the school do, because the treatments and prevention, that's what the patient can do. So, what do you think? Say the school or parent can do, or starting with the parent?
Well, it'd be more probably giving them more information. It's important that, first of all, at times have changed since we grew up, where now we have information to our fingertips, but back then they didn't, and sometimes we take some of these things for granted.
Right.
The approach wasn't uniform, because you have some parents that probably did, but for the most part, boarding school was when you learn all this stuff,
Right,
and the people that were teaching us were just other kids, you know what I mean?
True,
it was passed down, so that's kind of what it is.
Is it passed down from, say, your friend, or
it will pass down
or
from your more senior student, how she dealt with it or he dealt with it to the junior students.
Right.
But so what we have now is a more informative society, so the Cameroon has changed since we left, I believe. So the information is there. And parents should be more open with their kids as far as telling them what exactly to expect and how to prevent some of these diseases, because a lot of these diseases are preventable.
Right. They come at a very tender age. I hear now students come at from 8, 9 years old,
yeah,
or
they
something.
still do.
Right?
Yeah, they still do.
So imagine your 9-year-old in the boarding school, has to take care of themselves, has to be all of this, has to be clean, has to learn not to be careless, because if you're careless, then you lose everything.
Right.
Someone like me, I lost everything. First week, if you ask my friends in class, everyone would tell you, the first 2 weeks, everything was lost. My sheets, my Bible, my Sankey, everything, my pants, and then I just had to do a survival of the fittest. That's it.
Right.
So, again, my mom never went to a boarding school. My dad never went to a boarding school. I think he went for like a semester or a year or so, and that was it. So they didn't really understand, the needs, especially for the young ones. I really don't think the older ones have such a huge problem. They might have their own problems, but the younger ones, especially, those are those that have to learn, especially that leaving the home to be out of home for that long. Parents have to do a better job on that. School too.
Schools need to be more informed.
More involved.
They have access to the kids anyways in their care.
I'm not sure, because there's some medications that I feel like personally students have to have. like, for the vaginal infection, I feel like every girl needs it in boarding school. It has to be one of the checklist things that I can't remember how you called it, but the checklist that the school gives you to buy and all of that. Mom, when you're buying what Gary and all of that, or you're asking your friends in the US if you can't have access to it, I think you should ask them when you're telling them, bring me Avon, bring me this, bring me that, tell them to put, some monostat in it, because I think every girl needs it, because we still a system of pit toilets, right? We're not having water system, and with the water system is even worse because there's no water, right? You can't vouch for constant water every time. So it looks like at the end of the day, the pit toilet is better than the regular flush, for that environment. So the school has to make that, especially with the dispensary. I don't know what they have at the dispensary.
So maybe if we can even think of making that an initiative to make sure that these kids have enough drugs.
Right. Ex-students going to give back to the schools. A lot of them donate to the schools. If they can donate some medications for the dispensary. Right. Things like Tylenol. I mean, the school should have Tylenol. They should have ibuprofen. That's stuff that you can easily access. If it's too expensive, I think they should put it in the canteen. Right. For children to come buy and stuff like that.
So I mean, as far as ex-students wanting to do and have an initiative, that's something you could take up, because I think that would be a pretty inexpensive contribution because sometimes it's not even the money that you need. It's pretty much if you could put that in a good, such as medicine, that money will go a long way.
For you mean like sending?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
right.
When we have like Tylenol, ibuprofen, that to us it's not much. It doesn't cost that much. Right. I don't know about the other stuff that kind of sounds like you need a prescription for. But for those other ones, we should be able to.
Right. And I also think that the students should have access to a doctor. I don't know how often. I don't know if it's every week or every 2 weeks, or I don't know. They should have like a doctor come to school and actually try to consult with the kids if they have any problems, medical problems. It's just something I thought would be maybe every Saturdays when you're having the sports or devotions and all of that.
How interesting. Okay.
Yeah, right. So the last part of the of our show would be, I guess, getting questions from the audience.
Sure.
So we can just go on a commercial break and then we'll come back, take questions from the audience, and see what you think, and if there's any questions that you have concerning these topics, or something, some advice or anything to throw out there, because it affects a lot of our friends or relatives and all of that have kids in boarding schools. We from the English part of Cameroon, we believe a lot in boarding schools, and even with the problem, the crisis going on now where you don't have schools going on effectively, and you have they need to send the kids to the French side of the country, they still want to send them to boarding schools. So please come up with your concerns and let us know what you think or any questions, and then we'll ask you back after the commercial break. All right.
From the hills of great Sapon lies a cozy scenery.
On the 19th of July this year, the Assobations will be coming to Denver, Colorado for their national convention, and I will be there. Will you be there?
Join us. I will be there.
My name is John Indele Abam. I am a Boban residing in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be there.
I will be there, but it certainly would be the same without you, so please come join us.
Asobex convention this year in Denver, Colorado. Be there because I will be there.
Just here to indicate that I'll be there. Hope to see you there.
I will be there.
I definitely will be there.
I will be there. Will you be there? See you there.
Our soulmates, thy greatness not on can challenge. Shout and shine wherever you may be. God be praised, we are great in it.
All right, so we're back, and you don't have any questions?
No
any
questions.
questions from the audience? Check. Let's see if they have anything. It should be on the Aspects America page.
Mm-hmm. Guess I can't do this right now.
You have access to your Facebook account?
No, not immediately.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to do it.
All
really
right,
quick.
okay.
Oh, there it is. That
Good,
was
good,
nasty.
good. Shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Yeah, it sure was nasty, right? First period in school, shame one kill me. Of course, it's.
So what for first period? That's your first class. That's even before breakfast. So you come to class, you figure out, something niches. You know.
Right, and I think an advice would be to either talk to your big, like the child should talk to the big, or you talk to the house mother, and maybe we can they can get some advice for you on how to continue and all of that, because sometimes it might be you can be very, very scared, especially seeing blood and no one ever told you would ever see it, and you think, oh, maybe I'm dying or so. Yeah, right.
Thanks for that, Louisa.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
Audrey
so
says
celebrating malaria used to be terrible in school.
of course it was.
Malaria is
Right. And you had to feel sorry for whoever had the impact, because, at the end of the day, you have like 6 boys holding you, and, you're hitting walls and hitting that. And when you're, back to when you're out of that episode, you feel, I guess, there's pain. You feel like.
I really remember those times that, people had this cerebral malaria and they were acting crazy,
Right,
right.
And you would have other students laugh at you because.
Well, I mean, again, because we're still kids, so we see something like that.
Right.
Apart from enlightening these younger ones on what to do, what can we do practically to make sure that they are 100% upright with hygienic aspects?
Again, it would go
it has to
the
be
responsibility.
Be self-motivated. You want the kids to be self-motivated.
Right.
Like I said, we went to school. I had to go to school with girls, so I had to present myself because I had girls in my class. That took a level of hygienic responsibility. And again, the second level, what about the stuff you don't see? Like we talk about it. We talked about it here, where we were down to like one underwear. So we're down to one underwear, and the fact that in order to keep wearing it, we had to wash it every day.
Right.
But and literally, you had to wash it.
Right.
Like
you
every
had
day
to wash it every day, or you wear it wet, or you wear it dry it overnight.
That's right.
And please, when you dry. Your greatest nightmare would be drying it on the drying line.
I used to put it in my towel and rinse and wring it out like that.
Right.
But you still had to,
Or imagine you're down to one pant, and then you put it on the drying line. You go take a shower, and by the time you come back, your pant is no longer there.
So that's the problem.
You have to use someone else's pants, right?
So it may become a roundabout way would be.
Right, and also
donating underwear.
I think also with the school, they have to provide. I think they have to provide pants.
I think so.
Somewhere.
It is that serious.
Pants, towels, singlets, a little. When I say if they cannot provide it because the students they have a lot, you can sell it at the canteen. Parents need to also come visit their children more often, especially the younger ones. Because a lot of times maybe they might be open to telling you certain things that they don't want to tell the school authorities.
Yeah, so there was one comment on cerebral malaria, and you were right. That it was definitely a sad. When you look back at it, it was pretty sad. So, but back then it was kind of amusing and very weird to see somebody being captivated like that.
Right. So
I mean, Crystal, I mean, you're one of the pioneers of Aspects USA.
Sure.
And you even held a position of, president at one time.
Right.
I mean, this was years ago. But what do you say? What do you think? Or how are we doing today as far as the progression of the organization is concerned?
As a progression, I think we're going on the right track. We have a president now, Gombatudo, who is very dedicated, especially in bringing us together, because the most important thing is to bring, those of us that pass through BHS together and see how we can, help each other, or get that connection. Is not just about seeing you after a very long time, but hey, how can we make our relationship fruitful? If there's contact, if there's stuff that that I don't know, and we can get to educate, teach. I mean, there's times when we've even had partners, our lifetime partners, as Sebastians. My closest friends, passed through BHS. So we're going onto the right track. That there's still a lot of work to be done, and we need every hand on deck. We need every Asobexian. There's a convention coming up in Colorado.
Right.
We need every Asobexian to be there, because that's how we're going to make the organization successful. Be there, and when you come there, try to see how you can not only help in your own way, but even offer advice.
So
and see
basically,
how.
we're not just showing up.
Right. But overall, I think we're doing great. We've increased our membership. We're trying to raise more money. It's something that's very difficult, but again, understandably, it's a very young organization.
Right. So, and that, I think you're emphasizing something that's very important. So that, I mean, we're not just showing up, and because it was great. The fact that when I first went to the convention, I believe almost 2 years ago, I was able to connect with people I haven't seen in such a long time.
Right.
All at one time.
Right.
So that was important. But then after the convention, what happens after that should be important, and I think that's what we're bringing up this time.
Right. It's not only about conventions, right?
Right. So we're coming to reestablish, friendships, and hopefully we're really empowering one another, and encouraging one another, because perhaps it's more emotional for some. Some could be financial, and you can kind of take a look at it that way. Right.
And one last thing to mention is in the past, and I don't blame us for that, or Asobexians for that, is that in the past, especially here in the U.S., I'm not sure about the other continents, we've tried to have an association, but it's failed. So we had maybe one convention or two, and then after that we cannot get together, and people say, oh, Asobexians are not serious, or you would want to go to a SECA convention or the World's convention, even if you didn't go to SECA, or you just went for an interview in SECA and you got knocked down. You want to align yourself as a secretary, but this time around, again, we've been going on for 5 years. We're going in the right direction. We have we have good leadership and a very dedicated president. So anyone dragging their feet, if you're dragging your feet, please come on board, because the train is moving.
Right. That'll be great if we all work together. To at least build something. We, as ex-students, we can actually connect and have something that we could definitely be proud of. That's I think that's important.
Sure,
I thank you for your leadership and trying to bring this together with others. I think that's very important that you bring that up.
Right. I thank exhibitions, for trusting me to, lead them for the past years. Again, leadership is going to be better. There's stuff that I did or that happened during my leadership that is getting corrected in this new leadership. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we hate to let you go. That this was, again, I hope this blessed you as it blessed me in this experience, being able to, share this with Crystal. I haven't seen her in a while, so it was great to see her. And, we hope that everybody out there that are watching, you definitely, took some notes and you kind of reflect. Now, most of you have kids. Now you kind of reflect and look at your kids and see, the suffering that they could have gone through if they went in your shoes.
Right.
If you can think of it that way.
Right.
Again, we want to encourage you guys to stop by and contact Theo so that you can be a guest at our studio.
Sure.
And present something. I mean, we were very formal this time. We actually went thoroughly into these diseases, but I mean, we can also talk about other things.
Stuff. There's a lot of stuff. We can talk about kosh. I just saw a last question.
It was kosh?
Right. No, I think it was for Naiji. That's my husband asking.
Okay.
Who was my big and how did she treat you? I had no big. Okay,
I
came to school. I just survived.
Going to BHS
right?
With no
Yes,
big.
I went to BHS with no big. If someone claimed to be my big, they probably just liked me, but they were never my big. I lost everything, especially in Form 1 and 2. First, like I said, first few weeks, I lost everything. I was down to 1 pant. I would change them, and that's how I, usually got the yeast infections and stuff. And and when when I can't even find my pants, I would look for anything on the drying line and get. So, yes. So
that's interesting. I mean, I had it big for the first 2 years, and I mean, I love my guys. Alfred and Alfred and Wanji. But it was pretty useless. I don't know why I had one. I was big enough to take care of myself. I don't know why I even had one. So I envy you for going through the experience without.
I used to envy people who had bigs. So
because you feel like they were
I
taken
feel like
care
they're
of or
taking
something
care
like
of
that.
them,
But
yeah.
it's not true.
Oh.
But again, we thank you guys for stopping by, and we're going to notify you on the next one. I'm going to guarantee at this point that we will start on time.
Yes, we would definitely start on time, and we would hope everything works right before coming on. Again, sorry for being so late. It was due to circumstances we could not control at that moment, but we tried to get everything fixed, and it worked out right. So, thank you.
Thank you. Stay
See
blessed.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
From the hills of great upon lies a cozy scenery. Host of CTC, BTTC, BBS, S to BHS. Our soul makes thy greatness not tongue can challenge. Shout and shine